I am officially done with my first year of medical school. It's been so long since I've actually recorded and released a vlog that I hikey almost forgot how to go about doing this. However, with everything going on in the world, with me trying to like diversify the channel and get different aspects into it, I did low-key put this on the back burner. But we're back. Biggest things that happened since my last vlog, first and foremost, I am officially done with my first year of medical school. I think school finished either first or second week of May. I'm not exactly sure. And they gave us a 6-week break until we restart with our next year, which starts with dermatology and ophthalmology. So this year is over. I am a quarter of the way there. We are 25% doctor made, 1/4 doctor, all of that nonsense. I will say that this was probably the hardest academic or educational year that I've ever experienced. Now, I know a lot of people, like, you know, every kind of stage you get to, you're like, okay, this year was hard. So I might be here next year saying that second year was the hardest year that I've ever had. However, for right now, this was the hardest year that I've ever gone through academically. Recap. Now, the very first class I took in medical school was biochem. My thoughts on biochem at the time were that, okay, this is kind of like a rough transition from undergrad to medical school, because even though it was the same information you've learned both in undergrad, the same information you've learned both studying for the MCAT, this came at you not only a lot faster, but it came at you in a different environment. Now, with our curriculum, we were taking biochem along with anatomy, histology, genetics, and embryology. So it wasn't just one class, and all of that hit me like a pile of bricks. However, biochem was never my favorite subject anyway, but that ended. We made it through. Anatomy was actually my favorite class of my first semester. Believe it or not, I didn't much enjoy anatomy lab because that was a lot, and the smells did get to me after a while, but I did really enjoy anatomy. I did not enjoy histology at all. All those pictures looked the exact same to me. I was not a fan. However, we made it through that. HDTV, which was microbiology, immunology, pathology. That one was more or less kind of in the middle. I didn't really have any particular feelings towards it. Then you had physiology and pharmacology. Pharmacology was the worst class I have ever taken, and to this day is the worst class I have ever taken throughout my first year of medical school.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
Pharmacology was the worst class I have ever taken, and to this day is the worst class I have ever taken throughout my first year of medical school. Pharmacology is a nightmare that I never want to relive or re-experience again ever in my life. If there is one thing I know for a fact that I will remember throughout all 4 years of medical school, and probably even when I'm done and I'm a whole entire complete doctor, is that pharmacology was not it. I do acknowledge how important and fundamental it is for every single module and subject we are going to take from now on. Physiology, though, was my second favorite class of the whole entire first semester. Physiology was like the first class where things started connecting, where like I started actually being able to visualize how things work. Second semester, we just had 2 modules, cardiovascular and then neuroscience, and then like the behavioral sciences module. Of those 2, between cardio and neuro, I would say I'm a neuro person. Now, neuro did come at a point when we were all stuck inside, so I was learning neuro while at home. So although studying for neuro was harder, the information itself and the fact that I was learning made more sense or clicked faster made it a lot easier to do this at home. Classes and modules that we're going to take second year. So second year starting July 20th, which is when I restart school, we're starting with dermatology and ophthalmology. Following that, we have the respiratory system module, which from everyone, like all of my superiors, since they're MS3s now, have told me that one's going to be like a really hard module. Following that, we have gastrointestinal system and nutrition. We have then the renal system, which I also heard is actually really hard, but it's taught really well. Then we have inflammation. Infectious diseases is the next one. Then hematology and oncology, which I've heard too many horror stories about to ever feel any type of positivity regarding that. And then following that, we have endocrine and reproductive systems, and then dedicated, where we start kind of preparing ourselves to take step one, which, for those who haven't figured it out yet, is not pass fail for my class. And then throughout all of that, we also have doctoring and physicianship, which covers things like clinical skills, communication, health informatics, ethics, professionalism, geriatrics and palliative care, population health, special populations, patient safety, QI, and then systems-based care. So that's our second year coming up. I will say that second year does have that looming feel of, okay, steps coming up. So as organized as it is, and as much as like you want to be certain that you've now transitioned, you still do now have this super important, crazy aspect of your life coming up that's always going to add stress and make it a little harder. Looking back on it, there are 5 major things that I would say I took away and I will always remember. So first and foremost, I learned how to study. This is, as much as I hate to say it, this is a full-time job. In the beginning, I did have that like transitional struggle where I tried to take my undergrad study habits and apply it here, and it did not work. I did learn that I do have to prioritize studying in medical school, and I did learn that I do have to prioritize keeping up, because falling behind is to this day one of the worst like stressors I have ever experienced. It's not information you can easily cram, and it's not information that if you do cram, you will remember afterwards. Second, I learned that this is where I want to be. I learned that medicine is where I see myself. I love learning the material despite how hard it may be and despite how annoying pharmacology is. I loved actually going over things. For once, I enjoyed kind of like the learning process. Yeah, studying may seem tedious, but once you get the information, it gives me a certain sense of joy that I never really felt in undergrad. I don't think I would have been happy doing anything else. Because of course you started and it's yeah, this is what I want to do. But being here has actually confirmed for me that this is where I want to be and that this is where my future is going to take me. Third thing I learned, mental health matters. So your support system, your friends, what you do for fun, how you take breaks, what you do to relax, all of these different things matter so much in your longevity. All right, fourth thing I learned, financial management. Being here and knowing that you have a certain amount of finances to take you from point A to point B, with point B being the end of the year. Whether for you that's the end of the academic year, or for you whether that's the 12-month cycle and you're okay, this is the end of the year. Learning not only to budget yourself, learning to expenses, learning having to pay rent and utilities. These big boy bills hurt. Rent is not fun. Rent in Miami is hell on earth. Utilities, just miscellaneous expenses, taking care of yourself, eating, all of that goes a long way into your financial education and learning how to better take care of money. And then finally, the fifth thing I learned was time management. Being in school, balancing extracurriculars, because I did get involved with different things. This, YouTube in general, and then of course making time for yourself. Trying to fit all of these different things while still prioritizing the fact that you're here to become a doctor, and still prioritizing the fact that at the end of the day, what you want is that white coat. Or not really the white coat, because we already got the white coat, but at the end of the day, what you want is just the MD behind your name, but not really giving up on yourself completely and not giving up on everything that you do or are passionate about. Now, there are some things you have to give up. That's a given. I chose to sacrifice sleep a lot. I got better with it though as the year went on, and my goal for this coming year is to not sacrifice sleep so much. It's also ironic because in neuro, which was our last module, there was a whole entire big segment on what sleep deprivation can do to you. And while studying that, I studied that while basically running off of very little sleep, and also planning to not get much sleep that night because of our neuro exam the next day. After learning all that, and of course learning all of like the different side effects and learning how it exactly affects you, I do want to prioritize sleep, so that's coming. Time management is still being worked on, but I did learn a lot about it this past year. But with all of that being said and done, I am halfway through my summer vacation, or like this allotted time that they gave us for summer. So what have I done and what am I doing for this summer? The biggest thing for me coming into this summer was finding research or getting involved in research. Now, before Corona came, I did have some things lined up that were going to kind of put me in a better place. However, Corona kind of ruined it all. So I was kind of left scrambling. I did end up finding some research. I did end up finding things that could help me be a competitive applicant, while at the same time still also making time to do all of the little minor things that I wanted to do. The other thing for me that I wanted to really learn this summer was how to use Anki. So like I said in I think one of my earlier videos, I'm not a big fan of Anki, and I never really took the time to learn or make it part of my active schedule. So this summer I really wanted to do the baby steps and start from like day one and get used to it. It took me a while, yes, but I did have a lot of support and encouragement from a special classmate of mine who is honestly the most complete Anki god I have ever met or heard about. He should be on a poster board representing Anki. I am still learning. I do not enjoy it, and I'm very babyish about it. And the final thing for me for the summer was to find a way to enjoy the summer so that it wouldn't be purely school-based. So prior to this, we did have a trip to Costa Rica planned. We had a trip to Tennessee. There was a trip to Washington, D.C. We canceled our trip to Colorado, but this is gonna be an exciting year. I'm actually excited for this year. I'm excited to see how it's gonna go. And although the whole stress of STEP is looming, I'm actually still very much looking forward to it and everything that's going on. So once again, first year is over. I am your very new, brand new favorite second year medical student. Thank you all for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram, ask me anything you would like to ask me, and please feel free to give me suggestions on other kind of videos you want to see.